Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, the Cheryle Hubbard Channel. Welcome to my channel. Thanks, thanks to you, and I'm glad that you could join me today. Today is Saturday, February 29th, 2020, and tomorrow, March the 1st. So it'll be spring in a minute. But today, what I want to do is, this is my middle cabinet. Now, before, on a previous video, I cleaned out my, my other cabinet, my seasoning cabinet. Now this is my middle cabinet. I'm gonna use this for my little whatnots. Little whatnots like this. So I had a whole lot of them. I said, why not clean the cabinet out? Just wipe it out. Got my little gloves on. Put my little Tide detergent in a little bucket right there. So this is my little whatnot. So then I also have little cute little whatnots like this. So cute, So I have a whole lot of these. These are so cute. So my husband gave me these. So these are so cute. So what I'll do, just put my gloves on. So I'm glad you could join me today. Nice day today. It's a little cold out. I went to the store earlier, but it's so cold. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have to get out and move around and do, things you need to do. So let me get started on wiping this out. And then I have a few little things in the book that I'm going to present, part of my presentation today. So let's get this ball rolling. So what I do, I just have a bucket of soapy water. And plug the rag in there, let the rag get a little wet. And so what I want to do, just wipe it out like this. Just wipe it out like that. Up the top too. Sometimes you have little little particles that I just want to dump in the trash can right there. But just want to, continue to wipe it out like that. And then so not tall enough to not tall enough to get all the way up to the top. So there's another shelf up there. You can't see it from the camera, but another shelf up there. So I do rinse the rag out again and wipe it down a second time so it can be like But then I'll take my gloves off. Wash my hands again. Take off, a little soap. Wash your hands again. Wash your hands again. Right at that. 20 seconds. rinse them off with the water. So rinse them off. So what I want to do is just take these and mix to put them up. So I have two of these. These are so cute. So cute. So put these in front. Yeah. And then also these are the glasses that I always drink out of. So I have 4 of these. Put these up here like that on this side. And I have another little house. It's a cute little house. Yeah. So it almost looks like you can use it like a bank, but it'll fall out your little hole. It don't have no thing in the top where you don't have nothing in the top where you put your money in there. But it's just like a little house. These are almost like candles when you feel them. It's so cute, almost like candles, little houses. And then have all these cute little ones. These are so cute. See? One. It's like, so cute. 2. 4 of them. You want to put these in the front, maybe. Oh, there's another one. It's so cute. It's a real cute one, see? Little baby laying down. I don't know where my husband got these from, but they're real cute. And this is another little. So, like, little, put these little ones in the front. This one can go in the back. See? See how that's going to look? Got your little. Also, these right here that I have, these are little, cute little vases. Vase. Vase or vase. Which one? How you call it? How you say it? Vase or vase. They so cute. I washed them out. And they can go on the back. And then I have these are cute too. Look, these are, I don't know what they are, but they're so cute. That's a cute little one. And then this is a little cute one. So I'm gonna put these. Then we have one. This is so cute. This other lady, this similar to the other lady. These are some odd little pieces though, they're cute. Oh, his father's head fell off. It looked like a man holding a baby. But it looked like the man's head broke off. So just, put that up there. See how that looks so far? Almost like the wine glasses in the front. Really do. These in the back. Marshmallow and whatnot. And then, oh, I still have, these are cute little ducks. Mm-hmm. Some little ducks. A little duck. And this is so cute. See, little, something like this, you can probably put some, you know, like some cream or something in it. See? Cream or something down in there. And this is like, it's a cute little, so. So, voila, that's cute. And this is just my, you know, my magic marker that I have when I'm doing work. Oh, so then I have one thing left, and this is like a little bowl. This is so cute, see? Take this sometime when you have company. I can use this. You can also use this as a little candy dish. A little candy dish, see? That's cute. Voila, beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for joining me. Cheryle Hubbard Show. So cute, see? Just cleaned it out, put that up there like that. I got this is just, I'm gonna use this. I can put you know, candy in there or something. So I can put candy in this as a little dish. So, you know. I got two more. You know, cute little ones. Voila, finished. Beautiful. So thanks for joining me. Cheryle Hubbard Show. So I'm finished. Cleaned out my cabinet. You know, just wipe it down, and so there we go. So there you have it. So cute, so cute. So I want to read. I just want to read a couple of things. Oh, look. Went all the way back there to get my glasses. They're right in here. Also, I have my hood cottage cheese, and this is hood cottage cheese with peaches. So this is a big one. So I don't need to eat this whole thing. So what I do, open it up like this. See, open it up like this and just, put some of the little small one. With a little bit in here, and there you have it. So, don't need it. You got the big one. Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. I just want to read a few little things out of the book. So it says, your home, apartment, and real estate. So this book right here, the name of this book is You and the Law. So it says your home, apartment and real estate. What it means to rent. If you live in a large city, or if your job requires you to move from place to place frequently, you may speed years of your life as a tenant in apartments or houses that you rent from the landlord. That says when you rent, you are simply paying the owner of the property a fee for using it in somewhat the same way as if it were yours, but your rights are much more limited than they would be if you own the property. The most common kind of tenancy is tenancy for a fixed period. This simply means that you are entitled to occupy the house or apartment for an agreed period of time. So in other words, you pay rent for that month. You just agree to pay for, being a tenant for that particular period of time, for that 1 month. You pay your, that's why we have a month-to-month lease when we're renting. It's called tenancy for a fixed period. This simply means that you are entitled to occupy the house or apartment for an agreed period of time, a certain number of weeks, months, or years. Another kind of rental agreement you may make with your landlord is called a tenancy agreement. In this situation, either the landlord or the tenant may end the agreement when he wishes. Though most states have laws requiring that one must give written notice to the other a certain number of days before he intends to terminate the rental. So most rental properties want you to, give them a 30-day notice. Some properties want you to give them 60-day notice. So, trash can a little bit. So if you stay on in your rented house or apartment after the period specified in your lease has expired, in other words, if your lease has expired, the landlord may have the right to evict you. It says, while he may permit you to remain for another full term, he may also have the right to compel you to remain for another full term. He may also have the right to compel you to remain for a new full term. In other words, if you stay past your lease and you just paid for that particular month or year, but you paid for that particular month or year, but you stayed overtime, then he may be compelled to make you go ahead and stay a little longer. So, as we say, it says if you stay on in your rented house or apartment after the period specified in your lease has expired, the landlord may have the right to evict you. While he may permit you to remain for another full term, he may also have the right to compel you to remain for a new full term. In any case, you have become what is known as a holdover tenant. You stayed a little longer than you're supposed to. You're supposed to be out a certain time, but you are called a holdover tenant. Local rent control laws may give you the right to stay on the premises indefinitely after your lease has expired at the same rent you paid before, in which case you become what is known as a statutory tenant. Or the same laws may set up special legal procedures which the landlord must take to compel you to move out. Once again, it's wise to find out what the law is in your state or locality. Dealing with the rental agent. Once you have decided to rent, your next job is to find a suitable house or apartment. Yep, so once you have decided to rent, you got to find a suitable house or apartment. Sometimes the landlord will advertise premises for rent directly, but in most cases you will find yourself dealing with him through a real estate agent or broker. He is paid a commission by the landlord for the service he provides in finding a tenant. When you are looking at a house or apartment for rent, remember that the agent's first duty is to his client, the landlord. So it says, don't take as gospel or anything he tells you about the property, because the owner cannot be bound by the agent's misstatements unless you can prove that he knew about them, but only by the printed words of the lease you signed. What's more, the courts recognize that anyone engaged in selling is entitled to a certain amount of sales talk or puffing. If the agent taking you through a house on a cold winter day points out the charming fireplace in the living room and the fine view and tells you the site is cool and breezy in the summer, you won't be able to get out of your lease if the fireplace smokes. The view is blocked when trees are in leaf or the house and yard are muggy and stifling during July and August. Although brokers are regulated by the state and may have their licenses suspended or revoked as a result of misconduct or fraud, your best protection is to get references beforehand. So in other words, you're dealing with trying to rent a house or apartment, get you some references beforehand. Because sometimes people can tell you, give you misinformation, and then you stuck, There are several ways you can check on the reliability of a broker. You may ask friends or neighbors who have recently rented. You may talk to a local banker or lawyer, or you may check with the local Better Business Bureau or local real estate board. But remember that your only binding agreement with the landlord is the lease itself. So in other words, they always tell you, they tell all of us, my hood, let me try a little bit of this. They always tell us, when it comes to contracts, read the fine print. This is peaches. This is just a cup with the pineapple came in, but inside I put the peaches. Cottage cheese peaches. With peaches in it. Cottage cheese with peaches. Sometimes it's good to eat, stuff like this, because you can eat like this. You don't have to eat heavy all day. Eat something light. Eating all them burgers and french fries and steaks and all that stuff. Pasta and pizza and all that stuff. I mean, I eat some of that stuff too sometimes, but I don't eat all that all day. I like to eat like this sometimes. Crackers and cheese, crackers and peanut butter. So it says dealing with the rental agent. Now we're dealing with the rental agent. Now, what is in your lease? When you arrive at the real estate agent's office to sign a lease, he is likely to hand you a printed form that he would describe as standard. The particular terms of your rental, such as the description of the house or apartment, the term of the lease, and amount of rent will have been typed in. So in other words, you get your lease, you're trying to move in, you look around. In other words, they say you looking to rent, you look around the neighborhood or whatever area you want to move in, and then you make your move. You go to the landlord, rental office, fill out you fill out an application. So once you do all that, you get approved, and they give you your lease. So it's good to read over your lease. Always read the fine print. Although an oral lease is binding, if you are renting for less than a year, it's still desirable to have your agreement with the landlord in writing. So although an oral lease is binding, right? So in other words, oral means word of mouth. So right, you want that you want it down on paper, something tangible. Something tangible would be the written, your written lease. Leases for more than a year must be in writing under the statute of frauds. Leases for more than a year must be in writing. You have to always get my leases. I have my lease right here where I live at today. I have my lease, and we always get the amended lease. Every year we get an amended lease. The important thing to remember about a standard lease form is that it has been written for landlords and obviously contains clauses that are more favorable to them than the tenants, of course. Naturally, if the leases for more than a year must be in writing. Say more than a year must be in writing. Okay, it may contain some terms that a court would not enforce against you and may not contain others that could be enforced against the landlord if they had been included. So even though you have a printed standard form in front of you, there may still be some room for bargaining. To make sure you are protected, you should read it carefully before signing. Always read everything carefully before signing. All contracts, always read the fine print. I know I was online just a few days ago, but it wasn't a contract. I mean, I don't consider it well, it could have been, like a contract, but it was, when I went online, I went online to Instacart. Actually, I was trying to order some food from Giant, and so they put, they have Instacart on their page, so I guess they incorporated together. I guess Instacart would be the people that would be, delivering your food. So I was, I had picked out everything I wanted to order, so, and then, pricing and everything, I picked out everything I wanted to order, so they gave me a figure, amount, gave me the amount that my groceries were going to cost. And so I was prepared, to let them charge my card. But then I looked down 3 little inches down below, fine print. And the fine print said, because it didn't say it at the top, it didn't say it in big bold writing, fine little small print, 2 or 3 little inches below, maybe not even that far down. It said, we're going to temporarily charge your card $75. We're going to temporarily charge your card $75. So I'm like, wait a minute, now, you didn't say that at the top. It's in small print at the bottom. So when they wait till you get all your food and you get your total, and then, lucky, I'm glad I didn't click and, put my credit card information in yet. So what I did, when I looked down there, I said, oh, it's in small print. And I said, no, because my food didn't come up that much. So the things that I was trying to order. So I guess what they were saying was, we'll put a temporary hold on your card, and then whatever your groceries cost, you'll get the difference. I mean, I understand why you have to do all that. My groceries came to a certain amount, then that should have been all you needed to take. Why do you need to put a temporary hold of $20 more, $20 more than my groceries cost? Again, when you already know the price of my groceries, so why couldn't you just take off what my groceries, the total price of my groceries? No, they said, we're going to put a temporary hold in your car for $75. I'm like, no, that's all right. I changed my mind. I went on to the store myself. Because I don't want to have to do that, because sometimes you got to wait 2-3 days before they even refund your card. So I said, that's all right, I'll go ahead to the store myself like I usually do. So, and then it says, let's see where I stopped. I stopped right here, I guess. Okay, I read that. Okay, if the agent taking you through a house on a cold winter day points out the charming fireplace, I think I read this, in the living room and the fine view, and tells you the site is cool and breezy. If the agent taking you through the house on a cold winter day points out the charming fireplace in the living room and the fine view, and tells you the site is cool and breezy in the summer. You won't be able to get out of your lease if the fireplace smokes. The view is blocked when trees are in leaf or the house and yard are muggy and stifling during July and August. I don't really understand that, but that's what they're saying. And, although brokers are regulated by the state and may have their licenses suspended or revoked as a result of misconduct or fraud, your best protection is to get references beforehand. So in other words, get references, get references on that broker to see if he is on an ethical and moral, see if he is an ethical and a morally sound person, get the references on that person before you, because sometimes they can tell you one thing. A lot of times they tell you those things when you're out there house hunting, apartment hunting. They may tell you anything just to get you to rent. And then you go, oh, this place is blah, 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 blah. Because I know I was going, and my family was going to rent an apartment. I think it was before we rented this one right here. And so I was asking the man, I guess he was the gentleman working for the rental office. So he let us in the apartment. The apartment was very nice. I think this was like a few years ago, some years ago. But he was showing the place around. The place looked nice. So I started asking him. I asked him, did he have any trouble? Did the apartment have any trouble with, roaches and bugs and stuff? So he was like, oh yeah, everything is cool. Sometimes you may have rodents and all this may come from next door. And I'm like, really? And then, so he want to jump off that. And I'm trying to get a clear answer on clarifications on that, a clear answer on that question that I asked him. Then he want to jump off that question and ask him about our credit. Really? He said, well, let me ask y'all, how is y'all credit? I'm like, I'm asking you about the roaches. What you worry about my credit for? Wait for that, because you are not the one that's going to be okay in the application. He was just the one showing the apartment. Well, he said, well, let me ask y'all about y'all credit. I'm like, you know what, really? But so we didn't get that place anyway. We didn't even apply for it. So now I come to the bottom. What is in your lease? In other words, you're renting a place and you have your lease. You already read it over 9 times out of 10. You read it over before you always read things over before you sign and look at the small print. What's in your lease? When you arrive at the real estate agent's office to sign the lease, he is likely to hand you a printed form that he would describe as standard. The important thing to remember about a standard lease form is that it has been written for landlords and obviously contains clauses that are more favorable to them than to tenants, of course. Like anything else. You'll be better prepared to do this if you know beforehand what the lease is likely to contain and what the provisions mean. If you have any doubts about the lease, you should ask your lawyer to look it over. Like any contract, the lease should be dated and should include the full names and addresses of the parties, you and the landlord. The lease should also state the amount of the rent and how and when it is to be paid. Most leases give the total amount of the rent and divide it into installments, payable in advance on the first of each month or other state period. If the lease doesn't call for advance payment, the rent will be due on the last day of the period for which it is paid. The lease will probably provide that if rent is not paid on time, the landlord may start eviction proceedings against you or sue you for damages or both. In localities that have rent control laws, there may be a ceiling on the rent that may legally be charged for your apartment. Be sure that this ceiling has not been exceeded in your lease. In other words, you have your lease. Make sure you check with the rent increase. So in other words, there's a ceiling for that. They, make sure that it doesn't, they're not able to exceed their limit with increasing your rent. So, they do have the right, to raise your rent every year. But, a certain amount though. The term of your lease should be set forth whether it is for a year, 2 years, or a longer period. So everything is in a lease, it's a contract, and you read over your lease. If you're not satisfied with what your lease is saying, then you can always say, hey, look, I decided I don't want this apartment, or I don't want this house. I know I had a young fella in my building. I know his mother and his mother's pretty good friends, so he's about the same age as my son. He said he went to look at some houses. He was gonna get a house, but he's renting an apartment now. But he went to look at his house, and so he turned it down. So once he got in there, he said it was a whole lot of mold in the house. So he turned it down, so now he's renting an apartment. So, but at least he checked it out before he signed the lease. He went in there, because you definitely supposed to have your walkthrough. You had your walkthrough in the beginning when you first start renting, then you had your walkthrough when you move out. That way, when you move out, they're supposed to tell you everything that is wrong with the place, according to where you left it, So I know we had, me and my family rented this another apartment one time, and we moved out. So the landlord, the ladies that were working at the, in the rental office, they told me and my family, say, look, y'all gonna have to pay to have some new carpet installed. I'm like, we shouldn't have to pay, because it should be able to be cleaned. First they told us we could clean it ourselves, They told me that me and my family could clean the carpet. Then they changed their mind and they locked the doors on the apartment, and then they had somebody else renting it. I'm like, you have somebody else renting it, and they wanted us to pay $600. I said, no, we're not gonna pay nothing because you didn't even let us see it. You told us that the carpet was, it wasn't damaged, but it was. I think it has, in other words, you have kids that may spill stuff on the carpet. So they spilled some stuff on the carpet. And we were going to clean it. Because at first they told us, they said, y'all can clean the carpet. So we were set and ready to clean it. And then they locked the doors and had somebody else rent the apartment. And told us they wanted us to pay $600. I said, no, you told us we can clean it at first. Now you want to, lock the door, you get somebody else to rent it? So no. We never give you that. We're going to give you $600? Oh no, really? So it said how to protect your house from burglars. So this is the next one. Let me finish this one first. It's the last page for leasing and landlord. Okay. I think it's the last page. It says the lease should describe the premises being rented in enough detail so that there can't be any mistake about what you are entitled to. If you're renting an apartment, a statement of the street address and apartment number should be enough. But you may want the lease to pinpoint what public or semi-public areas of the building you may also use. For example, if the apartment building has a laundry room, garage, storage, cuticles in the basement, or swimming pool, you should have your right to use these facilities spelled out, as well as the total amount of any extra charges that may be involved. The lease should also describe any personal property, furnishings, household or garden equipment that are included in the rental. Sometimes an inventory of the landlord's property is attached to the lease and made a part of it. See, I never knew this one. Sometimes an inventory of the landlord's property is attached to the lease and made a part of it. Right, so that's understandable. You may be responsible for any items that are missing or damaged when you move out. See what I'm saying? Any items missing or damaged when you move out. Because see, they told us we could clean the carpet, and then they changed their mind on us, and they locked and had the doors locked because we were trying to get them to let us go in there and see the carpet. I wanted to see the damage to the carpet, damage to the carpet that you said we had caused. My family caused damage to the carpet, and I wanted to see it. Why did you rent it out so fast without letting us see the damage and then ask us for the money? No, you were trying to scam us. Because how you going to get somebody money without letting them see the damage that they did? Because when I left the last day, I saw that apartment and the carpet. It wasn't no damage, but it just needed cleaning. Because she said, well, I'm going to let you all clean the carpet. And then they changed their mind and they wanted the $600. So, they were trying to run a game on us. But it didn't work. So then it says, you may be responsible for any items that are missing or damaged. Most leases call for an advance deposit. Yeah, so that's what we did. So sometimes they can run a game on you so they can keep your security deposit. So that's what they did. They told us about, this and this and that. You responsible for paying for this and that. And then we didn't end up, we didn't get our security deposit back. So sometimes they run a game on you, telling you this and that is wrong. So they can feel justified in taking your security deposit. So that's what I'm saying. It's almost like everything is a game out here. It's almost like everything is a beating game. They want to beat people out their money. Cause we cleaned that place from top to bottom. Wasn't nothing broken. Nothing wasn't messed up. Rent was paid up to date when we moved out. Only thing they said was they wanted us to clean the carpet, and they changed their mind on that. So that was it. Most leases call for an advance deposit, usually a month's rent. That you must pay the landlord as security to ensure that you will live up to the terms of the lease and return the premises to him in good condition. In most states, the landlord is required to put this deposit in a special bank account or trust fund and to pay interest on it. If the lease provides that the deposit is considered security against damages, the landlord may hold on to it after you have left it until his claims. Let me see where I stopped at. Until his claims, if any, are satisfied. If either you or the landlord breaks the lease before it has expired, you are still entitled to the return of your security deposit, subject to his claims for actual damages. A particularly important part of your lease is a clause that tells who will be responsible for repairs and upkeep. Your obligation may vary widely depending on the kind of property you are renting and what the lease says. So be sure that your duties and the landlord's are clearly described. The landlord is generally responsible for major structural repairs such as putting on a new roof, rebuilding a cracked foundation, or replacing plumbing or drainage tiles. See, the landlord is generally responsible for major structural repairs such as putting on a new roof, rebuilding a cracked foundation, or replacing plumbing or drainage tiles. If you are renting a house, you will be held responsible for ordinary small repairs to keep the property in the same condition in which you found it, and for keeping the grounds in good condition. If the place you are renting or any other equipment that goes with it is in disrepair, when you are ready to sign the lease, you should ask for a provision stating that the landlord will correct these conditions before you take occupancy, or that you can return the premises in the same state of disrepair in which you found them. Any improvements that the landlord has promised to make before you move in should also be described in detail in the lease. If you are renting an apartment, the landlord's duties will probably be greater. He is responsible for the repair and maintenance of common areas in and outside the building, like halls, stairways, and courtyards, and depending on the laws and customs of the state or area. He may also be responsible for regular maintenance work inside your apartment. In other words, you rent an apartment, we already know landlords, they're going to be responsible for most, everything. I know one time we had a problem with the toilet in this apartment right here. And I don't know what was wrong with it. Something was wrong with it, but then at the rental office, they sent this man, one of their workers, one of the maintenance men, to fix the toilet. And he gonna tell me, yeah, well, if they find that you are responsible for, the malfunction of this toilet, then you gonna have to pay for it. So, you know what, my husband was like, just fix it. She shouldn't have to pay for nothing. Because he gonna tell me, we found out that you responsible, so he didn't know my husband was in here. So my husband was in the room. So he didn't know that my husband was here. Because I'm in there, I'm standing in the hall looking at him while he's working on a bathroom toilet. And he said, if they find out that you're responsible for the malfunction of this toilet or breaking the toilet, you're going to have to pay. My husband said, look, you know what, don't worry about that, just fix it. And you know what the man did? He started fixing it. Really? See, sometimes when they think that women are home alone, that's when they try to run game on them. But, you know, after that, I ain't staying with the company no more. I ain't staying with this company no more. So how to protect your house from burglars. So this is just a little page right here. They put it in the middle. How to protect your house from burglars. Like anyone else, the burglar prefers to enter your house through the door. So make these first line of defense. So in other words, make sure your doors are sturdy, strong, and safe for your family. Burglars want to try to get in the door. If they can't get in the front door, they're gonna try a window or some other way to get in, basement door. It said don't neglect doors to an attached garage or sun porch. Once inside them, a burglar can't work unobserved on a connecting door to the house. Ground floor and basement windows should be fitted with locks or grills. An ordinary window latch can be opened with a table knife in a matter of seconds. An ordinary window latch can be opened with a table knife or in a matter of seconds. So you have to make sure your house is secure. I like to have a nice alarm, cameras all the way around. Outside, if I had a house, I would love cameras. See, where I live right here on the property, they do have cameras all the way around outside, all the way at the top, all the way on top of all the buildings. And then in the halls too. But I would like to have an alarm. I think they should have, each apartment unit should have an alarm system, but I know they're not going to pay to do all that. You probably can do that on your own. When you go on vacation, arrange to have mail, newspaper, and milk delivery stopped. Because people steal your stuff, your packages, your milk, and all that stuff while you're gone on vacation. Set up several inside lights with timing devices so that they turn on and off at different times during the evening. A radio playing in the daytime will also discourage many burglars. So play your radio. That's what I do a lot of times. My husband, he always, likes to leave the radio on, when we're going out. But I like to do that, and I like to leave my TV on. I leave my living room TV on, and that way, they may think somebody home. They don't know whether you're home or not. They can't pinpoint what days you're going in, what days you're going out. Set up several inside lights with timing devices. Don't carry identification on your key ring. If the wrong person should find the keys, he could walk right in. If you put your car in a lot, leave only the ignition key. If you put your car in a lot, leave only the ignition key. So if you lose your keys, change your lock or the tumblers in your lock. Never give keys to strangers. Workmen, tradesmen, or domestic help. It's too easy to make copies. Never leave keys under the mat or in the mailbox. Don't open your door automatically when the bell rings. Look through the window or install a peephole in your door. So in other words, somebody ring your doorbell, don't just go run to the door and open the door. Because if you do that, you never know who at your door. Well, that's why they had that, that's good. They had that new ring technology, so you can see who at your door, even when you're not home, or even before you even get to the door. You can see who at your door. If you must open your door to strangers, use a chain bolt that will allow the door to open just far enough to let you see your caller. Use a double lock or a deadbolt at all times. Lock it even when you are at home or going out for only a few minutes. Windows that are accessible from outside should be fitted with keyed window locks. There's just so much happening nowadays. The world has changed so much. You can't, just have to be careful. You're going out, you just have to look all around. Okay, look all around. It's, before you, get in your car, when you're going to the grocery store. That's just, so many things happening. This coronavirus, that's, on the up and ups. And that is something else. So they have, it's almost like when you look at the news, new cases every day. Now the cases moved over to the United States. The United States, so they have, and just so many, last I checked, it was over 80,000 worldwide, started out in China, and then, moved on to different countries. So it says, the important thing to remember here is that the landlord can't, going back to the landlord, Landlord can't be held responsible for any damages arising out of his failure to do repair work inside your apartment unless you have told him the work is needed. In other words, you got work need to be done in your apartment. Make sure you let the landlord know the things that need to be done, because when it's time to move out, they can you'll get less of a security deposit, because they're gonna say, well, these things were not fixed. So that's what I need to do. I have to make sure I go through my apartment and do everything that need to be fixed, everything that need to be fixed. So when it's time to move, they can't say, well, you know what, you gotta pay for this, you gotta pay for this, you gotta pay for that. And then that's your security deposit right there, because they want to take everything out. They ain't gonna want to see you with nothing. You know? Okay, it says, most leases you can't sublease. So it says the sublet clause in most leases today requires you to have the landlord's written permission to sublet the house or apartment or sign over the entire lease to another person. If the clause simply calls for written permission, the landlord can say no without any explanation at all. You're better off, therefore, if the lease reads that the landlord's consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. So many leases contain a renewal clause of one sort or another. One kind of renewal clause gives the tenant the option of renewing the lease when it expires, either at the same rent or at a higher rent to be negotiated with the landlord. So, in other words, most leases have a renewal clause. If you're renting an apartment, the printed lease will probably contain a section called Landlord Rules and Regulations. So, I'm not going to read too much more of this, because this is a thick book. And actually, this book is my mother-in-law's. This is my mother-in-law's book. My mother-in-law had this book. Yep. My mother-in-law had this book. That's a book that comes from. It said, look, when a landlord can evict you. In popular parlance, despite the legal meaning of the word described in the previous section, a landlord evicts a tenant when he takes legal steps to throw him out of the property he has been occupying. The landlord has the right to evict any tenant who is violating a substantial provision of his lease. So you're violating a substantial provision, you can be evicted. Your rent is 3, 4, 5 months late. Landlord has a right to evict you. When your lease runs out, unless your lease has an automatic renewal clause, or unless you have negotiated a new lease with the landlord, you have a duty to move out of the house or apartment you have been renting on the day the lease expires, and to return possession of the premises to the landlord. And there's this chapter in here too for buying a house. Buying your home. So when you look for a house, tax rates, or zoning ordinances, public services, transport and highways, the role of the real estate broker. Once you're ready to look for a house in earnest, you will probably find it easiest to work through a real estate agent or broker. It says the real estate binder, the contracts. So just giving you different things, So the provisions of your mortgage. Every mortgage has certain standard provisions which protect the interests of the lender. The mortgage, whose lawyer draws up the documents involved. The borrower promises to pay off the loan and interest in the amount and on the date set forth in the bond. He agrees to carry fire insurance on the house as required by the lender. He agrees that the entire amount of the loan will fall due if he defaults on his payments or otherwise violates the terms of the bond, except in situations covered by the loan modification clause mentioned below. Many mortgages today contain provisions helpful to the borrower. The open-end provision allows the mortgagor to borrow more money in the future under the same mortgage agreement without going to the trouble and expense of refinancing or taking out a second mortgage. The prepayment provision allows the borrower to pay off part or all the outstanding amount of the mortgage before the due date. Some mortgage loan agreements contain modification provisions that prevent the borrower to miss a certain number of payments without risking foreclosure. So that's a good thing. Buying property that already carries a mortgage. If you decide to buy a house on which the owner has an existing mortgage, it may be either necessary or desirable for that mortgage to continue in effect. Perhaps the mortgage will not allow the original owner to prepay the balance of the mortgage loan, in which case the property will still remain subject to the terms of the original mortgage. Or perhaps you want to assume the balance of an original mortgage loan issued at interest rates more favorable than the current ones. If interest rates are falling, lenders are less likely to allow prepayment. If they are rising, as in today's market, they may insist on it. Whatever the reason, you may decide to buy the property subject to the mortgage, or you may agree to assume the mortgage. So in other words, somebody already have a mortgage on a house that you're trying to buy, you want to assume the mortgage. So I mean, I guess that maybe that would be a good thing. I guess you assume that, I guess, depending on how much he had left to pay. Because if you want to pay that mortgage, I mean, I guess they wouldn't create a second mortgage for you. You'll just take over that person's mortgage. So, in other words, somebody already paying a mortgage and they want to sell their house because they don't want to pay their mortgage, and you take it over and you pay. I mean, I've never heard nothing like that, but that sounds pretty good. That's what it says. It says buying property that already carries a mortgage. If you decide to buy a house on which the owner has an existing mortgage, it may be either necessary or desirable for that mortgage to continue in effect. Either necessary or desirable. Perhaps the mortgage will not allow the original owner to prepay the balance of the mortgage loan, in which case the property will still remain subject to the terms of the original mortgage. By building your own home or buying a newly built home. So it's just so many, this is a good book right here. So I'm getting into some more reading. It's a book I need. I need to read a book like this, but this is good because, see, me and my son, we're looking to, buy a house. So it said, before you build, many families today buy new houses that are part of a development or subdivision. The contract to buy the house may be signed months before the house is completed, and the financing may be handled by the representatives of the builder or developer. Other families may be able to afford the expense of a custom-built house designed by an architect engaged especially for the purpose. If you are contemplating either course, there are key legal points to keep in mind. The special considerations involved in buying a development house are discussed in Section 297. For the moment, let's assume that you are planning to build your own custom-designed house on your own land. Because of the comparatively greater expense of custom building your own house, it's more important that you have a lawyer's advice than in the case of a routine purchase. Well, I had a friend with a neighborhood that I used to live in. A gentleman, a friend of me and my husband, and he said he had a problem with his lawyer. He told us, he said, my lawyer was trying to take my house. And I was like, what? Really? I don't know the ramifications, and I don't know the. I think he's still down there in his home, so maybe he went and got another lawyer. He said, my lawyer was trying to take my house. And I was like, what? So I'm like, So dealing with the builder, the specifications you or your architect send to the builder and his firm bid, which states that he will undertake to build a house as described for a specific amount, are the basis for your contract with him. But there are many other factors in a building contract which you should discuss carefully with the architect and your lawyer before signing. Here are the most important: method of payment, completion date, completion bond. So this is dealing with the builder. In other words, somebody's trying to build your house. So these are the things: the method of payment, step contract, certificate of occupancy, completion date, completion bond, changes in specification, satisfactory performance. So ways you may lose your home. If your mortgage is foreclosed, Almost all mortgage loan agreements provide that the total amount of the loan will fall due if the homeowner fails to meet his regular monthly payments or defaults on his real estate taxes or his insurance payments. So your taxes, your insurance payments, and your monthly mortgage payments. You default on that, you may be in foreclosure. There are 3 possible procedures by which a mortgage can be foreclosed. The most common requires that the lender go to court, prove that there has been a default under the mortgage agreement, and obtain a court order to sell the property. In the second situation, the bank or lender has the power of sale under the terms of the mortgage agreement and can proceed to auction off the property. So in other words, the bank can take the house right from under you. If the bank paid off your house and you're just paying the bank back, so the house is paid for, but you paying a mortgage to the bank. So you mess up your payments to the bank, then the bank can take the house from under you too. So I think I'm going to stop right here today. And then it has another page over here, redeeming property after foreclosure. Many states allow you to redeem mortgage real estate even after the foreclosure sale by paying the purchase price plus costs and interest. Others allow you to redeem it up to the date of the sale. And then right here, they got a little chart right here. Different states, chart right here with different states. So in other words, your house is in foreclosure. Redeem property after foreclosure. So, I'm not going to stop right here because it's already an hour. Ways you may lose your house. Today, however, there is little reason why the careful borrower should suffer from a mortgage foreclosure. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you doubt your ability to continue your mortgage payments at the present rate, you should at once consult your lawyer or financial advisor and then talk over your problem frankly with the bank or other lender who holds your mortgage. So, if your property is condemned, if your taxes are delinquent, if you fall into debt, if your property is used or occupied by others. So just some things that I'll be reading on. Your rights as a homeowner, homeowners and the law. Yeah, just try to give you a little time just to read the top of it. Your duties as a homeowner, your real estate taxes, your wife's ownership rights. It's a good book right here, so I'll get into your family. It says we must think things, not words, or at least we must constantly translate our words into facts for which they stand. If we are to keep to the real and the truth. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. That's a quote. There's so many other things in this book too. Engagement to marry and breach of promise suits. Proposal to marry and its acceptance are recognized by law as a binding contract. Ain't that something? A proposal to marry and its acceptance are recognized by law as a binding contract. So somebody proposes to marry you and you accept, that's a binding contract. What happens to the gifts when engagement is broken? Common law marriage. As the state has gradually taken over the authority once exercised by the church in the private lives of all citizens, many rules have been adopted regarding the marital status. Who may marry at what age, the property rights of husband and wife, and how a marriage may be ended. For a long time, men and women have lived together for a period of time without taking the trouble to get married. These arrangements are called common law marriages. So you living together for a long time, and you haven't went to the court and officially got married, but you just live together. So you live together 5, 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, and you're considered common law. So, but I guess the time frame varies state by state. So it says several states will recognize common law marriages. So several states. Who may marry, at what age you may marry, and how to get married. So I think I'm gonna stop right here, class. So this is a good book right here. You and the law. So I want to say thanks for joining me today. Just show you how I cleaned out wiped out my cabinet, put my little whatnots in there, and so that's what I did. Put my little whatnots in there, and so very nice. So I want to say thanks for joining me today, and hope to see you back here again. Same place, same time, same channel, the Cheryle Hubbard Show. And so didn't talk about too much business and accounting today, but maybe my next video, maybe I'll get back on my, I want to get back on my beats, work on my beats. I'm still trying to get the songs together. I guess y'all probably say, really, girl? Really? Well, thanks for joining me today. And definitely want to get me, I'm a little thirsty right now. So, my little Lala, I always try to keep these, so I got these. So I think I'm gonna say this for my next video. I'm gonna do my next video, so I think I'm gonna put that in there. But thanks for joining me, and hope to see you. Hope to see you on my next video. Join me, Cheryle Hubbard Show, same place, same time. Don't know what, you don't never know what to expect on the Cheryle Hubbard Show, but it's going to be entertaining, interesting, enlightening, educational, and so that's my promise to you. So you all have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your weekend. So I'll see you on my next video. All right, have a good one.